My name is Rael Levitt and I'm the founder of Innerspace. I started in property like at an extraordinarily young age. When I ended school in those days at 17, I decided I wanted to be an estate agent. I was working in areas which no one else really wanted to work at. And so I went to the Cape Flats in Cape Town. I literally started knocking on doors, putting notices under the door saying, do you want to sell your house? Well before my 18th birthday, I'd already sold a couple of houses. And that was actually how I really got into the game. After I was in real estate, I went into the auction business and literally built the largest auction house in South Africa. In fact, it was in its day, it was probably one of the larger ones selling real estate in the world, actually. All of a sudden, that disappeared overnight. When I have setback, when I have difficult times, I say, okay, listen, what is the lesson in this? Let me find the positivity in this. And I suppose it was like that tenacity to say, okay, whatever it is, I'll overcome it. When I started Innerspace, the whole theory of Innerspace was, how is technology going to affect real estate? And that's fundamental because technology is the great revolution of our time. With the rise of Amazon, with the rise of e-commerce, with the rise of online delivery, that was a huge change in real estate. So I looked at retail, I looked at office, I looked at hotels, I looked at residential. And then I got into warehousing because I thought, these ugly gray boxes, which are pretty functional, are probably going to be the most sexy part of real estate because that's how distribution happens. Traditionally, real estate was seen as like this physical infrastructure, which is space. But in any business, you have users. For me, it's about actually creating spaces that people want to be in. Shared spaces which people can use at a lower cost, which are attractive spaces. Now, in industrial real estate, that was like revolutionary. I mean, this building that we're in today, it was really like third-rate industrial, very unsexy grey warehouses under metal sheet roofs and ugly walls. It was never a sexy real estate. I mean, Donald Trump was not going into industrial real estate. So the whole model came from actually a generational change plus the e-commerce factor and technology. What I brought into the business by looking at other sectors, and in fact it was in offices, was much shorter leases so that you create a sense of flexibility. It's about providing service to our customer, and our customer is a tenant. So it's really important for us to have rapport. We're heading to this year, we'll be at 2,500 clients. Ultimately, the success of our clients is how successful they are in their business. And so for me, that curiosity is really important, but it also gives rise to strategy and how we run the business. I mean, the most satisfaction that I get is really that this was a concept that I thought about while I was an adult student at university, and it's come to life and it's become real. That to me is awesome. But what really gives me excitement is to watch all these businesses. And in our parks, we've got close to 55 parks now. It's 500,000 square meters, it's 5 million square feet of space. To see these businesses thriving and succeeding is really exciting. And I always say, if you're having a bad day, and in the world today, you could always have a bad day if you follow the news, just walk into these parks and you see thriving businesses, people being successful, people growing businesses, and that's really exciting.